In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this adjustable bowl cover from my free patterns, which come in a small, medium, and large size. And these can just be tightened or loosened using the tie. You have your two pieces for the top and bottom. And if you want this bowl cover to be waterproof, then you can use a food safe waterproof plastic for the bottom piece. You also need a piece of rope or ribbon to tie your bowl cover tight. And then you also need bias tape that, when it's unfolded, is 2 inches wide. The length that you need for the bias tape and the rope will vary depending on whether you're making the small, medium, or large, and though the lengths of those will be indicated on the pattern pieces. The first step is to open your bias tape if it's already folded and press it flat, and then we're going to fold it in half. And then fold one end of your bias tape in by about 1/2 inch. Starting with the end that we folded in, we're going to baste our bias tape around the top piece of our bowl cover. And as we come back around, when we're about 2 or 3 inches away from the end, we're going to trim off any excess so that we can fold this back 1/2 inch and leave about a 1/2 inch gap between the start and finish of your bias tape. So make sure that you're sewing in the seam allowance. So you want to sew about 1/4 inch away from the edge. The next step is to place your bottom pattern piece on top, right sides together, and line up the edges. And then we're going to sew using a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around, leaving about a 2 to 3 inch opening to turn it right side out. If you're doing a smaller size, I'd leave 2 inches. If you're doing the bigger size, you can leave closer to 3 inches. Press back the seam allowance where your opening is. It's just easier to do it now rather than when you flip it right side out. Now you can trim your seam allowance back to about 3/8 of an inch away from your inside line of stitching, and you'll leave where the opening is intact. Turn your cover right side out. Press your cover around this outside seam and to get any wrinkles out. Top stitch around your circle about 1/8 of an inch inside from this folded edge. Use a safety pin or a bodkin to thread your ribbon or your rope through this channel. I just put a little piece of tape on the end so that my rope doesn't fray as I'm pulling on it and my safety pin doesn't pull out. You can tie a knot in the end of both your pieces of rope so that it doesn't slide through the channel. And then just trim off any excess. And your adjustable bowl cover is done. If you didn't use a waterproof fabric for the lining, then it will also be reversible.